Apparently, a lot of them are figuring out that Obamacare and the Affordable Care Act are the same thing, and they actually voted against their own self-interest. If you voted for them, you took away my health care. Not only did you take away my health care, you took away my ability to get insurance at all because I have pre-existing conditions. And that's just one of the minuscule ways you've affected people in this country.
I was in the school drop-off this morning, and I was standing next to this lady. And on my bag, I have things that, would clearly indicate that I voted differently than the majority of the country did. And she's just looking at me, and I'm thinking to myself, oh, here we go. But she looks at me, and I can tell she wants to say something, and I'm trying to brace myself for whatever it is she's going to say. And I'm like trying to distract myself, talking to my kids, whatever. And she goes, I didn't know that Donald Trump wanted to take away the Affordable Care Act. I thought he was just going to get rid of Obamacare, and I was all for that. And I paused because I wasn't sure if she was joking or not. And then I say, those are the same thing. They're one and the same. And she goes, well, I didn't know that. And now I don't know if I'm going to have insurance for my kids or for myself. Anyway, I empathized with her. I said, I feel for you. There's all sorts of things up in the air, and it's all scary. And who knows what it's going to be like, And I just kind of said, I'm hoping that things aren't as bleak as we think that they will be, because I hope that things aren't as bleak as they seem to be. But anyway, it left me baffled, because how are they so uneducated about the things that their presidential candidate wanted to do? Because somehow he baffled all these people into voting against their own interests. And I can't wrap my head around that. I don't know. It's wild. And I feel for these people, but also like, you chose the guy. I don't know. Good luck, Charlie.
This is 2024. Tell me why people don't still understand what policies are and how these policies can change their entire life. Like, even if you don't know, why can't you ask questions? Hey guys, so welcome back again to the channel. So in today's video, some people who voted MAGA are very much angry with themselves. Now, their anger is the fact that they voted okay to replace Obamacare. They never knew they are going to be removing Obamacare, which every one of them is enjoying right now. So they felt that it's going to be removed and replaced with something better. And they don't know how much insurance is going to cost them. And right now they are regretting their vote, right? So we're going to watch what these creators are saying. Then we'll come back and we'll talk more. Let me know what your thoughts are in this video in the comment section, right? Let's have a conversation. What do you think about this whole regret at the end of the day? These FAFO videos are getting very much interesting, because trust me, how can people vote without knowing what they are voting for? Anyway, let's go watch the videos, then we'll come back and we'll talk more about it. Please do well to subscribe to the channel if you have not already.
I'm sorry, man. This real life? This can't be real life right now. So I just saw the video of the guy who was saying that he voted for DT because he was going to get rid of Obamacare. He didn't like Obamacare, and he was voting to get rid of it. And he said he wasn't worried because he's unemployed, he's on disability, he's disabled. And he got his insurance through the Affordable Care Act. And when he said it, the guy was like, those are the same things, right? And the look on his face, I kid you not. So he spazzed it out like, why would you name them two different things? So the guy's like, you literally voted to cancel your health insurance, the thing you depend on right now. God, I can't believe, this is what I'm looking forward to personally. The lives that are going to come over the next few years. This is what I'm looking forward to. This is my silver lining, because the jokes are just going to write themselves over the next couple years. It's funny, but it's not funny. Especially, working in healthcare, working as a healthcare provider, I understand how important it is for people to have their insurance to be able to take care of themselves. But I'm sorry, the literal definition of voting against your own best interest. You have insurance through the Affordable Care Act, but you voted to get your insurance canceled. This can't be real life.
This post has blown up on the Bird app because a lot of people don't realize that the Affordable Care Act is the reason that a lot of young people can stay on their parents' health insurance until they're 26 years old. And if you didn't know, as of March 23rd, the Affordable Care Act was passed 14 years ago in 2010. And as a health economist, I'm here to tell you why the Affordable Care Act is one of the most monumental pieces of healthcare legislation over the last 50 years. It did a lot. In fact, from 2010 to 2016, the number of uninsured people was cut in half. 20 to 24 million more Americans now have health insurance because of the Affordable Care Act. A lot of this increase in coverage had to do with something called Medicaid expansion. In 2014, the federal government offered to increase its contribution of federal match rates if states offered to cover people who made up to 138% of the poverty. As of December 2023, 41 states and the District of Columbia have expanded Medicaid coverage. There have been upwards of 600 economic and public health studies looking at the impacts of those states that expanded Medicaid versus those that didn't. Have come to a consensus that Medicaid expansion has improved health insurance coverage, increased the number of visits, improved health outcomes, and improved the affordability of healthcare services across the board. It's been instrumentally effective. The Affordable Care Act also prevented insurers from denying coverage with those with pre-existing conditions. Essentially, why health insurance companies did this is because people with pre-existing conditions are more expensive to cover because they need additional healthcare services. The definition of a pre-existing condition is pretty large. Things like anxiety and depression were considered pre-existing conditions. Health insurance providers could deny you coverage because of those diagnoses. The Affordable Care Act also mandated that all insurance companies must provide essential health benefits as well as preventative care and screenings for women. This has changed because of certain Supreme Court cases, but in general, things like birth control and pap smears, those are all covered by the Affordable Care Act. Insurance must cover these essential health benefits in some way. Before the Affordable Care Act, they were not mandated to do so. The bill also established the Affordable Care Act exchanges, which provided affordable self-coverage. The provisions of this bill have also been changed because of Supreme Court cases, which I'm happy to talk about. And also, this bill isn't perfect. There's actually a lot of things this bill was supposed to do, but because of senators like Joe Lieberman, it did not happen. All things considered, the Affordable Care Act has been an instrumental first step in greatly expanding healthcare coverage. If you have any questions.
Serious question for the Republicans who didn't know that the Affordable Care Act and Obamacare were the same thing. What was the thought process there? Did you think that you had the Affordable Care Act because it was for Republicans and Obamacare was for the Democrats? Did you think that Obama was still helping with Obamacare? Like, did you think Obama was running it? What did you think the main difference was between Obamacare and the Affordable Care Act? Like, did you just think, like, Obamacare was the more liberal insurance and you just got, like, the more non-liberal insurance? I'm not even trying to be mean. I'm genuinely so fascinated by this blunder. I could understand not getting tariffs, sure. I'm just... If we didn't think they were the same thing, what did we think they were? How did we think they were different? Like, when you got your Affordable Care Act coverage, did you specifically say, no Obamacare for me, only Affordable Care Act? Did you think that Trump was going to take away the free Obamacare insurance for Democrats, but not the Affordable Care Act insurance for Republicans? I'm genuinely trying to understand. So please leave me a comment. And for what it's worth, I genuinely hope that everyone who needs free health insurance or low-cost health insurance ends up with it at the end of this.
So I heard a lot of Trump voters are upset because they're realizing that Obamacare and the Affordable Care Act are the same thing. And they are now realizing that it's all going to be going away under Trump if Trump gets his way. And to that, I say this is why we have been calling you idiots. The information is there. We've been telling you. You didn't want to listen. This is why we've been calling you idiots. This is exactly why. Because you refused to listen, and now you fucked over yourselves and a whole bunch of other people. So, I don't really have that much sympathy for you. It sucks. And I am so sorry that you're going to have to go through that, in the sense of like, I don't think anyone should have to go through that, which is why I voted for Harris, so that people wouldn't have to go through that.
It's really quite unfortunate that people voted against their own self without knowing it. Okay, just because they overlook some things and say, oh, instead of this person to be, let us just give it to our person. That is what is wrong with some persons. And right now, oh my God, they are all regretting it. That is quite unfortunate because nobody's coming to save you. You're going to do this alone. You're going to get your insurance alone. You're going to do everything for yourself. Like, and that's exhausting. Getting to find out that you made a decision that is going to affect yourself is the worst thing ever. Guys, let me know what your thoughts are in the comments. Okay, I would love to read from you. Let's have that conversation in the comment section. All right, and do well to subscribe to my channel if you have not already. Also, do give this video a thumbs up. Okay, see you guys on my next video. Bye, guys.